Hi, we're at E3 and we're here to talk about Alien Isolation.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. This is great.
Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what your role is?
Yeah, I'm Al Hope and I'm creative lead on Alien Isolation.
So tell us a little bit about the game.
So I guess this is the Alien game that we've always wanted to play. A game that goes back to the roots of the franchise, back to Ridley Scott's Haunted House in Space. We really wanted to make a game in which you really felt like you were for the first time encountering what it would be like to experience Ridley Scott's original Alien, something that was massive and terrifying and something that seemed really intelligent and was actually hunting you down.
So this one's more about survival than combat then?
Absolutely. I mean, I think games in the past, games based in the franchise in the past have really looked at the James Cameron experience, pulse rifles and multiple aliens and Marines, and we wanted to do something completely different. We wanted to go in a completely different direction, really tap into that first film, which is 35 years old this year, and just really deliver that original experience.
Okay, so why did you choose this particular time frame within the franchise?
Well, I think that really came from us. We were massive fans of that first film, and I think it really came from that desire to sort of take the player back to that lo-fi sci-fi sort of 70s view of the future. It's this kind of clunky, chunky push button technology. It's very grounded and feels very believable. And I think that's one of the sort of pillars of that first film. Is it's extremely believable. It's kind of almost mundane. It's set in the future, but it's kind of baked in the past.
So you play Amanda Ripley. She's Ellen Ripley's daughter. What's she doing there?
So the story for the game takes place 15 years after the Nostromo goes missing. Weyland-Yutani believe that someone's found the black box flight recorder of the Nostromo, and they send a really small crew to go and pick it up from this very deep remote space station. Amanda, who's been looking for answers as to her mother's disappearance, volunteers to be part of that crew, and of course when she gets there, she obviously confronts the horror that separated them in the first place.
So it's important to note you cannot kill the alien.
Well, I think this all comes back to the focus of the game, which is about survival, and just taking a completely different approach. It's a game about immersion and about tension, about trying to survive under pressure, trying to make choices under pressure, using it's almost any means necessary to survive.
Okay. What was probably the biggest challenge for you guys in developing this one?
Well, I think we realised early on, right at the start, that if the alien couldn't run under any kind of prescribed paths or patterns, if you got to learn its route through the world, then the kind of the terror would diminish dramatically. And so the challenge for us was to create an alien that just ran under its own senses. So in Alien Isolation, the alien is using its sense of sight and sound. It's listening for you. It's looking for you. And that's what's driving its behaviour. And what's interesting about that is that means that every time you play the game, every time you encounter an alien, the game will play differently depending on your actions and the alien's choices based on what it knows about the world around it.
Certainly, when I played it, I was killed quite a few different times, and quite brutally, and sort of makes you jump out of your seat.
Yeah.
What did you sort of use as inspiration for some of that stuff?
I guess it all. Most of our inspiration comes back to that first film. We kind of obviously very big fans of it, and I guess it's just trying to really try and recreate that sense of what it would be like to encounter that creature. Something that is quite visceral and scary and intimidating and kind of almost personal.
Certainly scared the crap out of me, that's for sure. Did Fox or Geiger or anyone like that have any sort of involvement in the game early on, or have you guys pretty much just taken everything yourselves and developed it?
Well, I think Fox have been fantastic. It's obviously it's their world, it's their universe. But right from day one, from the sort of the first time I pitched the idea to Fox, they were on board and massively supportive of taking video games within their universe in a completely different direction. And we've had amazing access to the production archive of that first film. Like I said, it's it's an old film, it's 35 years old this year, but they have this amazing archive of stuff that we'd never seen. I don't think it's in the public domain. Everything from continuity shots to blueprints of the set, down to audio archives. All the things that help us. We knew we needed to create more content than the film. The film's 116 minutes long, and we need to make hours and hours of content, and new content. But it always had to feel kind of true in spirit to the film. And as if if you'd gone through a different door in the Nostromo, you could end up on our set.
How big is the game in terms of size, rather than necessarily hours to complete it?
That's a good question. Well, the space station itself was built to accommodate 5,000 people, but the inhabitants on that station now is diminished dramatically. There's a huge amount of variety in the world. And one of the other interesting things is that the station's kind of being decommissioned. It's quite broken, so there's, just navigating your way through the world is kind of like a puzzle as well.
And you don't actually just have to contend with the alien. There's obviously human elements there that also don't particularly want you to survive.
Well, yeah. So one of the things we're introducing at E3 this year is the human survivors. Now they're in the same predicament as you. They're desperate to survive, but that also makes them really unpredictable. They're using the same core AI as the alien. They're using their senses. They're very dynamic and reactive. But sometimes they're positive for the player. They're helpful. Sometimes less so. They can be quite aggressive because they're absolutely terrified and very jumpy. And again, the other aspect that we're introducing at E3 this year are the Seegson synthetics. So these are Seegson run the station, and they're way behind in the tech race. They're not capable of producing the androids that Wayne Yutani can produce, like Ash. So these guys are much more basic and rudimentary. Again, but they're unpredictable. Sometimes they're helpful, but they also can be aggressive. And again, it's that unpredictability, I think, that really feeds into the horror. And all these things, all these elements come together in different ways and kind of emerge in behaviour in really unexpected ways that can really escalate and get out of hand rapidly. And it's all the time the players having to make choices and decisions about the world around them and how they're gonna survive, what their next steps are.
Did you guys feel under any pressure to sort of, how can I put this, produce a good Alien game?
Well, I think the fact that we started from the starting point was this came very much from us, and this, maybe it sounds a bit of a cliche, but this is the Alien game we wanted to make. So I guess we had a really clear goal and a really clear vision for what we were trying to achieve, and I think we just really stuck to that. Take the franchise in a completely different direction.
And have you got any plans to release like a playable demo before the game comes out?
No, we have no plans to release a demo at the moment.
And when's the current planned release date and on what formats?
So Alien Isolation will be released on October the 7th, 2014 on Xbox One, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3 and PC.
And final question then, are there any noticeable differences between the previous gen and now current gen versions other than possibly sort of graphics?
I mean, so we've been working on this game for quite a few years now. We use our own internal tech, which was built to make this game, which means that we've got some really amazing people in the studio, really talented people, and the core experience across all of the platforms is very similar. Where we can take advantage of new hardware, where it makes sense, we absolutely do. Whether it's graphical enhancement and effects. But it's a really compelling experience on all the platforms.
What message have you got for people at home? Why should they play this game?
Because this is the first game to actually take you back to the roots of the series, and for you to confront Ridley Scott's original Alien.
Thank you very much for your time today, and we look forward to finding out more.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. Why not subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the link on the screen now.